All
Well,
right, let's go on to the next topic. What is it you wanted to cover?
well, when you went through the marketing calendar presentation like last week, you talked about the model where you're seeing about 100 patient visits a week and you have two associates. So my question to you is, and maybe this changes for everybody, but once I hit 100 patient visits a week, do we do I spend a little bit of time at that and make sure I have everything down and it's consistent, and then we talk about looking for an associate, or I guess I
No.
want to paint a picture for myself for the year.
Yeah, no, here's the timeline. The very first thing that you need to be able to do is you need to be able to create more patients than you physically can handle.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what you need to you okay, of course you're well on your way right now.
Okay.
Okay. Because you're going to have a nightmare on your hand if you don't even know how to create new patients and you're not even bringing in, 20 plus new patients. You bring in an associate that doesn't know how to get new patients, you got a nightmare on your hand.
Right. Yeah.
So we want you to max out to where you want to be. So that might be 170, 180, 200. It's going to be up to you
Okay.
where you're at. And then we look at the statistic because you need to be over 50% in what are called active referrals. Well, you got 17 active referrals. It was all because of you.
Right. Yeah.
In other words, that tells us what? It tells us you're going to be able to create patients whenever you want.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Yeah.
those are the two
Can
statistics.
you say that again?
Yeah. Well, these are the two statistics that determine when you pull the trigger and now advertise and market for associate doctor. So you take it up to where most doctors are good around between 180 and 200 visits a week, week in and week out. When they go, okay, that's as many as I want to see week in and week out.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, do I at least know how to create the patients so I can create more patients to help fill them up?
Okay.
So you need your active referrals to be over 50%. That tells you you know how to get patients, you know how to keep them. Then we look at your retention, right?
Right.
Yeah, that has to be over 50% prepay.
Right.
So if you're over 50% prepay, 50% proactive, and you're hitting the peak, you're ready for matter of fact, you're not just ready for one associate, you're ready for two, three, and four, because now you know how to keep and get new patients.
Yeah.
That's never going to change. Now you just need to do it. You need somebody that can process it. That's the associate doctors.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get the one, we immediately keep going and fill him up. As soon as we fill him up, we go to the next one. You see how that works?
Yeah. For sure.
But you don't have to learn anything new because you already have patient retention and you know the marketing, you know how to get new patients.
Right.
All you got to do is just turn it on, do it, make sure the office is, doing it, all the systems.
Right.
And then all you do is add the first, second associate doctor, third one. And then if you want to go to your second office, third office, fourth, whatever. See? But the core component you now own, knowing how to keep and get patients, way more than what you physically can handle.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now the associate doctors and offices are unlimited.
Yeah.
That's when it gets exciting. That's when chiropractic gets exciting because then you don't even have to work full time, and you can work part time. Or like me, I just stopped practicing. I was just the rainmaker and managing and opening practices and all that.
Yeah. Exactly. Which, yeah, that model where you said either managing it or working up to 100 visits a week and having two associates, and then opening offices would be cool too.
Most of the guys that start with me, they never think of that when they start with, like you probably never even thought of that when you started with me.
And not right away.
Right. And then you hear me talk and so we kind of expanded your vision and all that. But most of the guys eventually they'll move forward and then they usually will they'll stop practicing full time. Most guys want to stop practicing full time. They'll work part time. And then when they start having more than two associate doctors or another office, they'll typically only work one day a week. And they typically will see, the patients they like that they've been seeing for 5, 10 years.
Right.
So they'll typically only treat those patients 1 day a week. And then they're just they're managing and training.
Yeah. Okay.
That's typically so they go to the second office, the third office, the fourth office, the second associate doctor, the third associate, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a huge quality life because now you got freedom. You're making way more money than you ever could on your own, and you have freedom. That's the pinnacle of being a chiropractor right there.
Yeah. Agreed.